Hey guys.
Which one's camera one?
Oh, this is my brother David Collings. He's very new at doing podcasts.
For real?
We're in, right?
That was a real question.
We are in.
Welcome back. What?
Which one's camera one? There was a thing that said camera one.
Doesn't matter. See that?
Okay.
No, it was counting down
Oh.
while saying, look
Oh.
at camera.
Ah, David, man.
I was just testing you guys.
Yeah. Thanks, man. Thanks. Hey, guess what? We are here at the podcast place in Long Beach, California, with the amazing producer Solo Man.
Hold on. All right.
What'd you fix? Oh,
I misspelled your name, but that's all good.
That's a first, though.
Collins. My name is Jason Collins. We are finally doing it. Me and my brother, David Collings, my identical yet unidentical twin brother, and I are doing a podcast. And here we are. We are just going to talk and hang and let you guys in on our lives. And we're going to go for it. And I think we should start by talking about why we're calling the podcast Unidentical. Because as most of you know, we are definitely identical twins. We were womb mates,
Ew.
if you will. And but we're so different in so many ways. Like, obviously, I'm doing stand-up comedy. My brother doesn't do that because, you know, he's not a... Why don't you do stand-up?
I don't know. I don't know. Probably stage fright would be part of it.
But what are you afraid of?
Bombing? I don't know. I don't have that.
Yeah, you know, it's been 18 years.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't know that you did do it.
Briefly.
You did do you did do stand-up a couple of times. Early on in my career, one of the things you do early in your stand-up career so you can get stage time is you run your own room.
Mm-hmm.
And so I hired my brother to be the host of that. And he hosted a couple of shows that I did. And he was actually funny. Remember the night I brought you up at the Comedy Store, though?
Yes. No, that was, you mean for the birthday?
No.
Oh, yeah. Yes, I do remember that. Yeah.
So one night my brother shows up to watch my set at the Comedy Store.
That's the same.
And what happens with us sometimes is that we will, without even planning it, we'll dress alike.
Mm.
And we were dressed alike this one night. And so I said, let me bring you up on stage and I got a plan. I want to do this plan. So I go up on stage and I open my set with, my brother's here and I feel like he's judging me like he's better than me and blah, blah, blah. He thinks he could do what I do. And then I go, he thinks that he could be me.
Right.
And I go, should we bring my brother up here? And I never said he was my twin or older or younger. So should we bring my brother on stage? And the audience was like, yeah, let's bring him on stage. And then he walks on stage and the audience freaks out because it was me walking on stage again, you know?
It was
it
was because I showed up in the exact
same outfit.
Man.
And you did well, which really upset me. He did a good job. So I was like, all right, that's enough of him. Get him off stage. This is all about me. I'm selfish. But yeah, Dave, this is your first foray into kind of doing one of these podcasts. You had your own podcast for a minute.
Yeah.
But it was called the Escape Pod. But how do you feel about
You never
this?
know. That might come back.
I'm going to do a brotherly thing.
Schmutz.
You had a little linty lint on your t-shirt there.
Oh, what?
Linty lint.
Oh.
Lint on your t-shirt.
Winty lint.
What'd you say?
I said winty lint.
No, it's a venti lint. That's what size lint it was. It was a venti. But yeah. So yeah, identical twin brothers. And here's the crazy part. We've been twins our entire life.
Most of the time, yeah.
Right?
Yep.
That means we have the same mommy, the same daddy, and we have...
That's how that works.
And to answer a very often asked question, our penises are pretty identical, right?
Yes.
Yeah, we have...
Why did I answer that so fast?
Quickly, yeah. Like, I don't think you've seen my dick for years, though.
Nah, it's got probably since like junior high.
Yeah, it's pretty dope. But yeah, people... And a lot of people in the comedy scene, because David's around a lot during in the comedy. He helps me write. He does a lot of my, behind the scenes stuff and that. And then a lot of people are always asking, when are you guys going to do something together? And so here we are doing it. And I'm excited. We're going to have merch. We got a website where you can go to get that merch. We'll put that up in the next few episodes. We'll have hats, t-shirts, koozies, all that stuff with the unidentical logo on it. And we're going to have we'll have an email for you guys to send us emails, and we're going to put up a P.O. box if you want to send us silly stuff or wonderful gifts. And it's going to be a whole thing.
Silly stuff for wonderful gifts.
Wonderful gifts. Shoe size 11. What's your shoe size?
Same.
Yeah.
11.
And my brother's, you understand, David's a Puma fan. David likes Pumas.
Yeah, I'll select the Nikes.
Anyways.
And I promise, as time goes on, I'll get comfortable.
Comfortable?
Yeah.
Speak up.
Yeah, see? I'm like very...
No, you just have a quieter voice than me.
Yeah.
Your voice is much quieter than me because I'm used to talking into a microphone and, BSing every night.
Right.
To people and projecting.
Usually people who are full of shit always have to talk louder. I'm just kidding.
Man,
I'm like,
he's on to me. So, how do you? What do you? How do you feel, David, about this podcast?
actually, I'm excited about this
Yeah.
podcast. Yeah, I'm excited because one, you know, being on this side of a camera is uncomfortable for me.
Yep.
So if I was going to do it with anybody, it would be you. And I'm actually, because I did that one, we were talking about the escape pod.
Mm-hmm.
I did that one by myself, and I'm actually more comfortable doing this than I did that.
Right.
And I did that one at my house.
Well, one episode you did it at Joe Coy's house.
That's right. I did the one at Joe Coy's.
That was a lot of fun.
That was fun because you and Joe were there. You
Joe
know,
were there,
so
yeah.
I enjoyed that one. But this is great. I'm excited about this.
Yeah. I just don't like how much thinner you look than me.
Right.
It's
One
really
of the
upsetting.
things. One of the things I'm excited about though is to be able to talk to you more about like the stuff that you do that I don't know about.
Right.
Like because there are those things that as much as I'm around it, as much as I'm friends with this guy, that guy, and that all the, if I'm not a comic,
No.
and you don't know what it's like unless you are one, you know. So I like to learn all that kind of stuff, all that kind of fly on the wall information.
You do have more of an inside look than most people, though. You have
Yeah.
more of a.
Yeah.
You have a lot. You have almost as much knowledge as a stand-up comic about stand-up comedy.
Right.
And honestly, like I said earlier, you have been on a mic.
Yeah. That's
You've done that, so you know what that feels
Right.
like. But the things that you're not used to is the ins and outs of like coming up with bits and working a bit every night, and,
right. Yeah.
and writing it and you know and fucking around with it on stage and
Right.
trying to find that and stuff, and then like dealing with other comedians, and that's sometimes a pain in the ass. And like watching comedy as a comic, watching comedy is so hard for me now because I'm so judgmental and mean, and like I can't stand bad comedy, and most of it is bad today.
Right. You know, one of the funny things that my wife and she would get on me at when we were first dating is when we would go to the comedy show. She always hated that I wouldn't sit there for the
In
whole
the
show.
audience,
I couldn't
right.
do it. I couldn't because by that time I'd been doing that
Dude,
with you for so long and having to sit through a showcase, especially or something. You know what I mean?
yeah, because
That was rough.
most shows in LA, they're all showcase shows. It's at least 4 or 5 comics.
Right. Yeah.
Every show. I mean, in some cases, like most of the shows at the Comedy Store are 12 to 15 comedians a night.
Yeah. Wow. Jeez.
And we're all doing 15 minutes.
That's right. Yeah.
I mean, and being such a big, like if comedy's not something you're used to and this is an outing and you bought tickets, that's cool.
Right.
Especially in LA at the Comedy Store, because you never know who's going to pop in. You never know what like famous comic you're going to be able to see that in normal situations you have to spend a lot of money to see these guys and they're just going to work. But like you used to it, sitting through it, it's agonizing.
Right.
Especially when some of the comedians are bad, which like I said, a lot of them. Oh, there's so much.
They're trying.
Oh my God. Like I can't stand it when I see, like I've done shows where like there's a newer comic on the show. And then when they're done with their set, they sit in the front row with their friends and watch the rest of the show. That's weird.
Oh, funny.
Yeah, that's weird. Yeah, that's how you know the new
Dude,
comics.
we didn't even do that when you first started.
No.
Wow.
Mm-mm.
I remember we would sit in that weird back area
Where?
of the Haha Cafe. There was like
Where was
it was almost like a comedian bullpen, but it was like benches back there, and it was like a closed off where you could see the show, but it was like this.
that? Oh, behind those
it
curtains.
was like a dugout.
Yeah. It was a VIP section, but the club was never full enough to fill it.
I love that I called it a dugout, and you're like, it's a VIP section.
Yeah, it was never full. That never had people out. That old haha was incredible.
That's fun there.
Bro, the new one's amazing. But that old one, I got in trouble one night because I was making fun of the club on stage.
Oh,
Like I got on stage and I says, why does the men's bathroom always look like somebody just finished shaving in the sink? Because it was just always had yeah, it was weird. And obviously they had that backdrop with it had the door with a chain over it that said "Welcome to Hollywood." It looked like it was in blood.
Yeah.
And there was a window with a girl taking a shower. Like, what are we? It was weird. They still have that background outside on the outside stage of the
Which I think is cool.
of the new new club. It's nostalgic.
Yeah, I dig it.
Like it's the stage I started on.
Yeah. Man, I remember those days too, because that this is kind of like a full circle thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's almost like we're trying this new thing together again because
Yep.
you were starting that, and I remember you wanted me to be with you like every night, and we were going. every night.
When I started stand up, I wouldn't let any family, my wife, kids, no friends. I didn't want anybody there watching,
Right.
Because I was new, except for you.
And it was
the two of us at every show.
Yeah, and I remember it wasn't just you can be the one that you were like, you have to go.
Yeah.
Like I was required to go.
Yeah.
And
You got to come with me. I remember when I first found out I was doing stand up, I said, Dave, you have to write me jokes.
Do you remember sitting on my porch?
Yeah. And we were writing, and I just said, I can't do this.
Yeah.
And I just crumpled it up, threw it away, and I said, I'll wing it.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much what I did. I just talked for 15 minutes. I'm surprised they invited me back.
That was fun.
Another thing that I want to get going on, that I want to get to on this podcast, which is a lot of fun, is the differences between the two of us. Like we're identical twins, but there are so many things about us that are different. Like you're smarter than me. My brother's smarter than me. He has a way better vocabulary than me. He's way more well-read than I am. You've read I'm going to say too many books. You've read too many books. And I've read the Goosebumps series. But yeah, that kind of stuff. But also your love of like Star Wars and Marvel and
pop culture.
all the pop culture stuff. And you love freaking model trains and shit. Yeah,
Man, I'm obsessed.
It's goofy shit.
I don't even
really goofy, nerdy shit like that. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, my what is it? My Instagram, when you go through it, it's just all model trains and vintage toys. That's another thing I love.
You got me on that one. I started watching that the toys that built the world or whatever it's called.
Yeah, those are great. And when we were kids, the cool thing is, but when we were kids, we kind of lived in the golden age of toys.
Also serial killers and child molesters.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah.
But yeah, we had that whole, we had the whole Star Wars thing.
Yeah, we were our
big thing.
We had a pretty good childhood.
Which is also a cool story. A lot of people don't know. Kenner was nobody before Star Wars.
What were they known for before Star
They were a toy company, but they weren't in like I guess there was like the big three or something like that, Mattel, Hasbro. But they were just one of the little guys that were just kind of struggling. And everybody said no to Lucas except them.
Weird.
And then they're huge. And that's what made them what they are.
Star Wars built Kenner.
Yes. Yeah. I think. That's
now, when they first started making the action figures, did they recycle old things that were different toys before?
No.
Because I know that some do.
Star Wars started that.
That size of action figure?
Of action figure, yeah.
Because they were big before the G.I. Because I know the G.I. Joes and the Barbies were the same thing, or were they? Am I wrong?
Well, no, because the G.I. Joe had...
See, he knows.
They were the same size, like height, I think. In fact, I think Barbie might have been a little taller.
Really?
But remember, Barbies had like those weird stiff arms and those like...
Yeah.
Remember, and their legs were like all like this, and the G.I. Joes had articulating wrists and joints, and their necks turned, and they had like the hair on their heads and stuff felt like beards. You remember?
Oh, they were fuzzy. Remember they were fuzzy?
Yeah. So
I still have a bunch of Jonathan's old G.I. Joes in my house.
And I can't remember which of the because Solomon, do you know much about the nostalgic toy stuff, anything like that?
I played with them.
Okay, because there's a company, I don't think Mego did the G.I. Joes, but there's a company called Mego, and they do that format. And I think Carlos, our friend Carlos, has I think that's Bruce Lee that he has as like a Mego.
Oh.
I think. Yeah.
Are they the one that did that Snoop Dogg one?
I don't know.
Oh.
I wouldn't want to be like, yep, those are those guys.
This is what I'm talking about. All the stuff.
Guy's an idiot.
Yeah, all the stuff you were just talking about. I don't know anything about that kind of stuff.
Right. Okay. Yeah, that's your point. Yeah. But you remember we had all that cool stuff. So Jay and I were such Star Wars kids that and for some reason anything else to us sucked.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If it wasn't Star Wars.
Yeah. We got some Star Trek shit.
And we got cool. This whole set of Star Trek toys, including the full action figures, the big ones, and remember those vinyl boxes that would open up and it would be a set?
Yeah.
And remember it was the bridge.
The box that it came in was a play set. Right?
Remember that?
And it was the bridge of the Enterprise.
And it had the thing you would spin, it would make, remember that?
Holy shit, I remember all that. And it was supposed to be them being...
Right. Yeah, so we got this for Christmas from somebody, along with a shit ton of awesome Star Wars stuff. I mean, Han Solo's blaster, we had the sabers, we had everything, right?
Yeah.
And this
we had the full-size Chewbacca, the full-size Darth Vader.
Yep. And the Star Trek stuff sat in the corner and collected dust. We didn't give a shit about it. I think we just destroyed it. I don't
remember where it went.
Nowadays, that whole set that we had is considered, among toy collectors, international toy collectors, it's considered one of the holy grails of toys. And we had one. We didn't give a shit about it because it wasn't Star Wars. Yep.
What'd you do with it?
I don't remember.
Shit the bed on that one, didn't you, Collins?
You know what's another big classic one that we had that I didn't know was such a big deal, but we had it. Remember our Winnebago?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like a big deal toy, I guess, to collectors and stuff. Yeah.
You just don't know when you're a kid, you know? And I'm sorry, if you're a kid that doesn't open your toys, you're a serial killer.
Yeah.
You know, and we open.
I have some.
Well, no, you're not, but you're
now,
you're,
right? Yeah,
you're 100 now.
Right.
Like now, but I'm talking about like when we were 8 and Dad gave us a Luke and a Darth Vader, and we're not going to open or play with these. We would have been weirdos.
Right. What if Dad did that? Imagine Dad's like, here you go, but you can't.
Don't open it.
Check that out. No, don't touch.
That's a different level of child abuse.
Yeah. Oh man.
I still have our Castle Grayskull from He-Man.
I know. That's
have
a big one too.
Yes, I have that Castle Grayskull, but I also have that Next Generation one that Jonathan got when Jonathan was younger.
I forgot what company He-Man was. Mattel. I can't remember. It's one of the big ones, and it's the one that felt the worst about passing on Star Wars.
Really?
The one that kicked himself the most.
I mean, everybody.
This is why the reason I bring that up is because He-Man was created for the sole purpose of competing with Star Wars.
Really?
Yeah, he needed his
There you go.
Star Wars. Yeah, that Mattel.
It was Mattel. Yep.
Yeah.
Master of the Universe, sometimes referred to as He-Man or She-Ra series, is a sword and planet-themed media franchise created by Mattel.
Yep.
Huh.
Remember
so they're just
a comic book.
But they're also, what's different is they're a toy. The toy was first.
Right.
Whereas Star Wars, the movies and the stories were first, and then they built toys on that. So they came up with this toy and built a story around it.
Right. And they said the story is what's going to sell it. That's why remember they came with comic books. Yeah. Remember they came with a little comic, each action figure?
Yeah.
Those are cool.
Dave, God, you're a fucking dork.
I know, sorry.
Such a virgin. You're such a virgin without being one.
So on the model railroads, you N scale, HO scale?
No, I don't.
Dorks.
But no.
Have you ever had any?
I don't. I just love to watch and look at them. There's especially the setup they got at the LA County Fairgrounds.
I love to watch.
Yeah, you would think I'm telling you, man.
And
I'm the
look
guy from
at
Up, dude. Seriously.
Dude, that when we were looking around on Instagram the other day and I found that Lego site that had all the Lego trains.
Yeah.
I mean, it was fascinating to watch.
Yeah.
It's almost like watching, POV videos from people on roller coasters.
Mm-hmm. They do those, by the way, for model trains.
That's what I'm saying. It was like that. It was like a GoPro or something on top of this.
They call them ride-alongs.
Train, and the house that it was running around was huge.
Yeah. Yeah, and they got all these different tunnels. And I love it when you do the ride-along because then you go into the back part of it where you see it goes through the whole storage of where all the trains are stacked on shelves and all this.
That's cool.
See,
Thank you, Solomon.
You guys,
Yeah, I've been into model railroads forever. So,
dude, heck yeah, I love that stuff.
Yeah,
I love to watch them. Now I know what I'm going to get David for Make
Christmas.
it a monorail though.
Don't demand a gift. I don't want to give my brother a monorail. Make it a monorail.
I was obsessed with that thing.
Make it a Disney one. You were telling me something cool because I perform in Las Vegas a lot. I perform in Vegas like once or twice a year for a week. And the Vegas Strip has a monorail. And my brother let me know, I didn't even know this, that it used to be a Disney monorail.
It was Disney World.
Disney World in Florida. Let me ask you this though. Did they build it like it or is it actually the actual one and they shipped it over?
You know how they upgrade them.
Yeah.
Like the ones at Disneyland are called Mark 7s. And the one in Florida is called Mark 6s. And when they moved the Florida ones up to a Mark 6, they sold the Mark 5s to Vegas.
And that's what I ride on.
If you look at this train, look at the side of it and you see those distinct triangular patterns of the windows of the,
See, this is what I'm talking about, you guys. These details, that's not, my brain doesn't work that way.
I key in on all that stuff, yeah.
It's incredible, and I love it. And I learned so much from him, which is so weird because we grew up at the same time, under the same parents, under the same roof, in the same city, and you went off into Virgin World, and I
Did you have
got
the same
laid,
room, though?
huh?
Did you have the same room?
For up until about 12 years old,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
Yeah, we had the same room until we were about 12, 13 years old, and then our parents upgraded to a house where we could have our own rooms. And it's because, and I was excited. I was so happy, and here's why. Because our room was always so goddamn messy, and I'm not a messy person. I'm very neat. Everything has to be in its place. Like if you notice everything on the table here is lined up symmetrically. I'm very neat and tidy. And this fool, would blame the mess on me.
My stuff's on the floor.
His shit was everywhere, and the room was always a mess. And I was always like, "It's David." And our parents were like, "When we buy a house and you get your own rooms, we're gonna see who the messy one was." And sure enough, my room looked like a Kia display.
Yeah, did.
And David's looked like the levees broke.
Seriously, dude. It was. And remember, I would have those days where I'm like, okay, today's the day, and I would like do a once a month overhaul and clean my room.
Clean the shit out of it. But guess what? A day or two later, it was exactly messy again.
Yeah, I don't know why.
I don't either. It was weird. You had the good room though. My brother had the room at the house that had a back door,
That's right.
so he could sneak the house in, which he never ever did because he was watching Star Wars.
Oh yeah.
That's fucking great. But yeah, that's all that stuff I like. Dave, my brother's very knowledgeable with Disney stuff too.
Yeah.
Are you into that whole thing?
My daughter was. She got into it for a little bit, and she knew all of the trivia and like, did you know this, and all the secret ways in and the secret clubs. And
Oh, there's all
Disneyland,
kinds of
all
secrets,
that
by the
stuff.
way.
Yeah.
I only do that about stuff that I'm interested in, like the monorail.
We were there and we were getting on the train, and my brother goes, "Oh, there's a certain spot where you stand, and if you look through these two buildings, you could see a pirate ship."
Mhm.
And sure enough, where no one is, it's what they call backstage.
I guess.
You look through these two buildings, and there's a freaking pirate ship just hidden. And isn't there a bunch of hidden Mickey Mouse ears everywhere too?
everywhere. Yeah, those are the hidden Mickeys. But
And
I
you
get
could do the
more into
tour.
the stuff that just interests me, like that pirate ship or the
Yeah, that's cool though.
yeah. Like I know the whole monorail, the whole history of it. And
I heard on the monorail that you can ride in the really front, but you have to ask. Like, other than
yeah,
that, that's what you
lately
just have
not
to
even
ask.
that. Sometimes
Like where the pilots sit?
yeah.
Yeah.
Remember, there's that whole seating area up front. They don't let people up there anymore.
Why?
I think ever since COVID, everything changed over there, I guess. But yeah, there's 3 of them. They got 3 monorails at Disneyland. An orange one, a red one, and a blue one. But in like Disney World, they got like 12.
See, that's the thing. I look at the monorail rolling around and swooping by. I'm like, that's the monorail. But he knows that, no, that's one of 3 different.
Yeah, I can't look at it and go,
Trains. Are they
I
different
didn't even know
colors?
about it, yeah.
Are they different colors or
In
something?
Florida?
Oh, in LA.
Yeah,
Or
3.
in Anaheim.
Yeah, 3. Orange, red, and blue.
Isn't it closed right now?
No.
Oh,
It was. It just opened back up.
Got to go back.
Yeah.
Last time my brother and I went to Disneyland, we had a Disneyland Brother Day
Yeah.
a couple weeks ago. And we went just to do the, we went on the, what is it, the Star Wars thing, the really cool one that's like 3 rides in one.
Right, yeah. The Rise of the
We
Resistance.
went on Rise of the Resistance, and then we did the cars,
Mhm.
the race cars, and then just walked around.
How could you not do Star Tours? I mean, that's like the
Star Tours?
best. Yeah.
Yeah, Tomorrowland over
In
there.
Tomorrowland, it honestly is one of those things. It's a simulated ride.
Right.
Those make me sick. Like I couldn't back when they had the Back to the Future ride at Universal. It was you were just in a box moving around like it's a
Yeah,
dude,
yeah.
Those get me really motion sickness,
Uh,
really bad. Like actual roller coasters, I'm cool with.
Right.
Don't get sick.
Yeah.
But for some reason on those fake ones, I get a little bit motion sickness. But that didn't happen on the Millennium Falcon one, where you
Yeah,
got 4
okay.
people.
All right. So the Millennium Falcon ride, you know about this one?
Yeah.
No.
All right. So when you're on this ride, you have a job. Okay.
Yeah,
There's
really cool.
There's 6 seats, 2 front, 2 middle, 2 back. Right. 2 front seats are the pilots. One on the left is in charge of. One's in charge of up and down. One's in charge of left and right.
Got it.
And the next 2 behind you are gunners, and they're in charge of shooting stuff. And the last 3 are called engineers, and they just have to push buttons. But Jay was up front, right, on our first time going on it. My brother was on the front
mad.
with this other lady
I'm already shaking my
who
head.
was just not taking it serious enough for my brother, right? Because I was behind.
You understand? In my mind, we're flying the Millennium Falcon.
Her. Yeah, and I'm behind her in the whatever I'm doing, just not even doing my job because I'm laughing so hard at how really bad he's.
I was so mad. We had a job. My job was side to side. No, was I?
You were up and down.
I was
remember
up
it.
and down, and she
you
was
were
side
in charge
to
of
side.
hyperspace,
And I was in charge of going to hyperspace.
light speed.
So when an obstacle would come that I had to get under and then over, I would do my job, and then Miss Little Housewife would go,
Well, she
and then
spent
we
the
would
whole time
crash.
looking back at her friends.
Yeah, she spent the entire time looking back at her friends, and I'm like,
Yeah.
yo, hey, woman, we're driving here. We're
Oh,
flying the
so
Millennium
funny.
Falcon.
he was
And she
mad.
screwed it up. We lost.
He was so mad.
That ride sounds like it has to like cause some arguments though.
Oh,
I
it's
mean,
hilarious.
Because you're right. There are going to be people who take it seriously,
Yo.
and the people sit there and goof around.
Yeah.
And you're trying to get like a decent score.
Right.
Or
Thank
whatever
you.
it is.
But
But
it's
trying to
funny.
fly this bit. We're on a mission.
Out of
Yeah.
the two of us, you would think I would be the one taking it that serious, but he was like, so like, let's go, lady. We got a mission here.
It's not every day you fly the Falcon.
That
Or
was
as,
good.
as Harrison Ford said, the Falcon.
Right. He said it funny. People always ask me what I think of that Star Wars area over there because I'm such a fan.
Mhm.
It's all right. I'm more of a fan of the older ones. Like that area of Disney is more centric to the newer stuff. Like with,
Right.
what's his name, Kylo Ren and all that,
Mhm.
which is cool. But I'm more into the old.
What's
stuff.
that? They have that one shop, though, that's all the vintage stuff.
Like it's like they call it a museum. Yeah,
Yeah, they have the museum. And it's shit when we were kids.
that's pretty cool.
I don't
Gen
know, when
X,
you think
baby.
about, though, when you look at the history of Star Wars, you could think all of the things that had to be perfect for that thing to not only happen, but become a cult classic.
Right.
Because
Yeah.
Insane.
it could have been considered so just cheesy at the
Because-
time and would have never gone anywhere if you really look at it.
Right.
Because if you look at it, if you watch the first Star Wars movie from 77,
Right. Yeah.
it's a bad movie. It's bad.
Let's come on.
It's a bad movie.
Let's relax a little.
The special effects were decent for the time,
Wait. Whoa.
but the
They were phenomenal for the time.
acting
It was awful.
was hilariously awful.
Yeah. I like how what I thought was funny is how Princess Leia in the beginning of the movie had an accent a little bit.
Right? And then by the end, she was
And
from.
then by the end, she was a little short for a stormtrooper. I remember she was all like, but didn't Pat, what's that one? Portman?
Yeah, she did the same thing.
Oh, but she was doing it because she had to be.
She was in disguise. I am from Naboo. She
Right,
was in
right.
disguise.
Yeah.
Where she had to talk like she had lip injections
Yeah.
from Naboo, and she looked around like this. She
Right.
never moved her head.
The cool thing about how I dork out on stuff, though, as far as with us, is that you get into it. And you
Yeah, I
always
love hearing your
ask
stuff.
me, yeah.
It's like a trip into his brain. And then I learn things. Like I'm watching right now, I'm watching the new series Ahsoka. And I
thought you meant learn like things that meant things.
no
You mean-
learning about shit. Like it's when I watch these shows now, no shit, I pause about 4 or 5 times during the episode to call David and go, okay, this character showed up. Where is this in the timeline? Like I want to know
Right.
because I didn't pay attention the way he did. Because I
Nowadays,
was
though,
too
it
busy
seems like
getting laid. But
if you really want to go through the whole story, you have to watch every miniseries,
Yeah.
every cartoon,
all the animated
all the
series,
comic
yeah.
books. I mean, you have to really know to understand what's really
Yeah.
going on these days.
Imagine I'm going to say imagine, but Dave's probably done this, is taking a day or two and just going through the entire timeline.
Well, I've done that with Star Wars and Marvel.
Oh, wow. Wow, man.
I have
How long did it take?
days.
I lasted
2 days.
till the Thor movie. And I was like, all right, I'm good.
But you know that my wife is with Marvel the way I am with Star Wars.
Yeah.
So
My brother married a very gorgeous dork.
Yeah. So,
So,
it was
yeah.
the Star Wars, of course, was my idea. We watched them, but the Marvel thing, she was like, okay, now we're doing the timeline of
Dude, you've done that with several things. You've done it several times with The Office.
Oh yeah.
Start to finish Office. And
Well,
then
Office is
start
more
over.
therapeutic. Sometimes I'll just have that on for background.
Oh, the theme song alone gives
Yeah.
me happy feelings.
Yeah. But we're also different in music stuff too.
Yeah. There's certain tough stuff that I listen to that you don't like at all.
Yes. Even as far back as junior high school, I remember that
Yeah.
if I wanted to know what's the in shit right now, I would ask you that. Yeah. Because I
Yeah.
was listening to like
You nerded out on music as well at an early age. When you're in junior high and you're listening to just the top 40 stuff that's on the radio.
yeah.
My brother was listening to like, jazz artists and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
What was some of the like David Benoit and
Back
Larry
then, it was
Carlton?
Larry
and
Carlton was
George
big
Benson.
for me. George Benson was big.
Yeah.
Then
Earl
also,
Clue was big for you. These are all like really good.
but also like Dave Brubeck.
And that was our dad's influence.
Speraldi.
That was our father's influence on you. I loved it, and to this day, when I listen to it, it reminds me of Dad. But like, you really, because you ended up playing. I never played an instrument.
Yeah.
I'm really good at the radio. I could play the radio really, really good. But you ended up learning bass guitar. You were actually in a band with Dad for a while doing percussion.
That's right. Wow.
And I didn't really do any of that stuff. I did the production end of it when we were doing that hip hop
Right. Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't know that you and I were signed to a record label producing hip hop music when we were like 19 years old.
Yeah.
And that stuff was easy for me because I was into what was happening now.
Right.
But where you came in handy was finding the obscure jazz cuts to put to sample and make that hip hop track sound dope.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you would find just these crazy like guitar licks or horn things that were like very obscure.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, you listen to a lot of music differently than I, and you made fun of a lot of the music I listen to because I like a lot of poppy stuff.
Yeah.
For some reason, I really got into Mark Anthony for a minute because I used to do salsa dancing, and I remember you just hated it.
Who?
Mark Anthony.
Oh, I don't know. Oh, okay, I know who that is.
J-Lo's ex.
Oh, right. Yeah.
And you guys would make fun of me so much, but I dug it because I liked the dancing. But yeah,
That's all right. Everyone used to say when we were kids and they would hear the stuff I'd listen to, they always called it elevator music.
yeah, they called it elevator music. Our good friend Raul Reyes calls anything that isn't hip hop elevator music.
Oh, funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then junior high was a trip too because we were in elementary school. It was kind of difficult, and I'm not trying to sound like a victim or anything, but we were the only twins in the school at one point.
Yeah,
because the population was different back then. It was it was the turn of the century.
Yeah.
No, it was
so it brought on the
bullies. Brought on the bullies, and I fought a lot. Remember, I would fight my fights and I would fight your fights. But the problem with that was I lost all of the fights.
You know how when a kid would get bullied and the parent would go, "We better put him in martial arts so he can protect himself." That's not why my parents put us in martial arts. My parents put us in martial arts so that my brother would stop fighting.
Yeah, I was getting in fights at school so much. And I remember the family was like, "Are you crazy? His problem is fighting and you're putting him in martial arts?" But
what, they want somebody to kick your butt? And
every day you get your butt
they
kicked
think
for years.
When you don't know martial arts, the ins and outs of it, you think that's just fighting.
Right.
And it's going to make him want to fight more. And it didn't. It made me, I had an outlet then. And literally day one of martial arts, I never got in a fight at school again, except one time in high school, but another kid started it.
Right, I remember that.
And, but yeah, so funny. Years later, me and that kid ended up being friends.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But yeah, I had the fighting issue with the bullies and people bullied us. And my brother was such a target for bullies. I'm going to put you on blast right now, dude.
Okay.
He had training wheels for way too long. Like when we were all riding bikes. And
I was 17.
Dude, he was 17 years old. But Dave was the last kid in the
I
neighborhood
think we were like
to have training wheels. And I don't know why. And the other kids would bully him. Do you remember when you got your bike stolen?
Oh, yeah.
Dude, this one day, we happened to not be together. I was in the house watching cartoons or something, and David was out. And he shows up home at these apartments that we used to live at, and he's bleeding and his bike's gone.
I got jumped.
He got jumped for his bike. And I got up and left, and I fought like 5 kids. And
One of them was a girl.
And one of them was a girl, and I got his bike back.
Yep.
Remember, I came back. I showed back up at the house an hour later, bleeding with his bike.
I remember that, man.
Yeah, you ain't stealing.
That's a real story.
You ain't stealing my brother's bike. That's my brother's bike. That Huffy is his Huffy.
I don't even think it was a Huffy.
No, our first 2 bikes were Huffies.
Oh, the first 2 were, okay.
Yeah, we never really got the good bikes. That's another thing we nerd out on is 80s BMX bikes. Remember those? The good ones?
Yeah, I was never into BMX. I had 10 speeds back then.
See, we were into the BMX thing, but we couldn't. The bikes that we wanted were so expensive.
Yeah, we never even asked for them.
Never.
They were that expensive.
We would get the Huffies at Kmart on layaway.
That's right. Yeah.
My mom would put these bikes on layaway, and then David and I would go to Kmart every day to visit our bike.
There was another place called Best.
Best?
Yeah.
Yep, and we would go visit our bike that was sitting there on layaway. And that's going to be my bike in 4 months.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, man.
And it was a Huffy, and I had that first Huffy BMX that had a gear change on it.
Oh, right. Yeah.
And I destroyed it the day I got it. Remember, we if you're familiar with Long Beach, which I know you are, Signal Hill.
Yeah.
So Signal Hill when we were kids was just a dirt hill. And you would go up there to ride your bike. Now it's like a neighborhood with beautiful homes and all this shit. But we would go up there to ride our bike. So Christmas morning, we get these 2 brand new Huffies and we go out to Signal Hill. And I went down this long hill that had a ramp at the end and just.
No.
I know. It didn't have a ramp.
At the end.
So it had a turn bank at the end.
And Jay didn't turn.
I didn't turn.
Oh my God.
I just went straight and took an entire fence down and literally put it this way, it hurt my balls so bad. I'm shocked that I have children. I didn't know that I would be able to have kids after this accident. My balls were bleeding, I think.
Oh man.
And I was screaming, crying, but my dad was
he
so
just
cool.
went over the bank and hit this fence, and this what had to be like 200 yards of fence was just going dum 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 like a wave.
Brand new bike. Brand new bike. And back then in those days, you always thought your parents weren't going to worry. You thought they were going to be angry because you just ruined the thing that they had on layaway for 4 years. You know? So I was like, and my dad was so cool. He ended up fixing it. It was like brand new when he was done.
Yeah.
Yep.
I remember that.
Never had a problem with it again. Dude, the twin shit.
Yeah.
Let's talk about what people ask us. People will often ask us, are we twins? That's a dumb question.
Well, I think it used to be dumber.
Because we look more alike?
Yeah, before. Because I have a lot more white than you.
No, you really do. You do, but you don't. And
Well,
here's what I mean. I use the good old Just for Men wash-in shampoo.
You can look at how brightly white that is.
No.
You can tan off my hair.
Look at that cul-de-sac, dude.
I
It's
know.
like Johnny Quest's
What is
dad.
going on with your
Johnny Quest's dad.
What is going on with your hairline? Wait a minute, take that off. Let's talk about that for just a
going
second.
on?
Turn, let me see the side. It's going up. Now let me see mine. Look at my hair. What happened, Dave?
I don't know.
You know, I know exactly what it is. I had sons, you had daughters.
Oh, yeah. Oh man.
That's another crazy thing. Being identical twins, him with 2 girls and me with 2 boys.
Yep. They're all adults now.
All of them are adults and they all hate us.
My oldest and your youngest are only 16 days apart.
Yes. And they look more like twins. They look like fraternal twins more than cousins.
They were together a lot as babies, so everybody thought they were twins too.
Yeah.
Then my younger one is just had a birthday.
And how old is she now? 27.
Mm-hmm.
Is it 6 or 7?
7.
27.
Yeah.
Damn. And she went to Vegas.
Yeah.
Damn, party. But she's got a man. She's got a cool man so she's chill now. So guys, anybody want to know anything about my brother's daughter? Talk to the fucking hand. Talk to the hand, baby. Do that.
Make another one.
I love her. They're my babies. Yeah, this thing's kind of, we're going to fuck around with this thing a lot. We'll put it in the middle. We'll memorize it.
Oh, it's got a little tiny.
What's this one?
That's paparazzi. It'll go forever though, unless you hit it again.
Yeah.
All right, I like this one. Unidentical podcast with Jason Collings and David Collings. So,
And
let's
I
talk
got your name right now.
Yeah, you got my name right.
start
Boom, there
over.
it is. We fixed it.
We'll
Check that
reintroduce
out.
both of you
Hey,
guys.
there it is.
All right.
For years, all growing up, people always left out the G in Collings.
Yeah.
They always left the G out, and all of our jerseys would, like when we did sports, we would get our jerseys all excited because it has your name on it. It would always say Collins. And finally, I just started telling people there's a G in it because I'm gangster.
Collings.
Yo.
There's a bunch of Collingses in England
Yeah.
and in Texas.
Yeah. Okay, Collings Guitars, that high-end guitar company, the founder of that was our grandfather's something.
I don't know if we're related to that guy.
I think they are.
Oh, that I don't know.
I think that they are
Yeah.
because they're also.
I could research it.
Well, here's the thing: they're also from Texas.
Collings guitars are beautiful.
Beautiful. They're too expensive for me, but
No,
they're
I get
gorgeous guitars. Because they're also based in Texas,
Right.
and our grandfather was a musician. He played the violin,
Right.
and it was he would have called it a fiddle. But yeah, so I wouldn't be surprised because our grandfather had 4 brothers or something. We'll find out from relatives, but so I think he's one of those brothers, but I'm not sure.
Oh wow, that's cool.
But I'm
And then
not
there's
sure.
then there's the Collings Foundation that does all the
old-
World War II planes.
Yep. They come to Long Beach every year.
Oh, I know. I went to one of the things, right? And I go, my name's Collings. Is there like a family? I'm joking. I go, my name's Collings. Is there like a family discount? As a joke.
Right.
And the guy just looks up and he goes, just completely ignored it.
Oh, he didn't like you.
I
Fuck
guess
off.
not.
It's a joke.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have a what they call a flying fortress. Was that in 1941?
Flying Fortress, B-17.
B-17.
Yeah.
They have a B-17 that you could fly in. They have the one that did that. What was that one mission that what is that?
I forget what they call the Doolittle one.
Doolittle. plane.
It's
They
a
have one
beast.
of the-
Something.
yeah.
Brian, my buddy Brian would know.
Yeah,
all
but
this.
that's-
the way I am with useless things like Star Wars and stuff. He's like that with World War II.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A girl hit me up. She DM'd me. A girl from the UK DM'd me once, and she was very, very flirty. And her last name was Collings. And I'm like, I don't think we should be talking to each other this way. Our kids will come out with 7 toes on each foot. But yeah, that's Collings, INGS. Don't forget that, because a lot of people fuck it up when they try to find me on Instagram. Jason, what's your name? Jason Collings. All right, Collins, got it. And then they find the first NBA player that came out of the closet. Who's Jason Collins.
Who's a twin.
Who's an identical twin.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's pretty cool. Yeah.
I ended up meeting him on the set of a TV show that one of my best friends was on. And my best friend was one of the leads, and his best friend was one of the leads. And we ended up on set together.
Remember
and
that.
I said, I went up to him, because when he came out of the closet, I'm not kidding, on Facebook for some reason, a bunch of people that didn't understand sports or have, wanted to do the research before they said anything, saw the post of Jason Collins coming out of the closet. And I got congratulated so many times on my bravery.
Oh, jeez.
And so I told him when I met him, I got so much undue praise because of you.
That's funny.
And we just had a laugh, and we
Remember, I
took a
took that
picture
picture of you
together.
guys. Yeah, he was huge.
Yeah, I'm 6'2", and I look tiny next to him.
Tiny next to him. Yeah, man. That guy,
What's he doing now? I think he's coaching, right?
maybe.
I think he's coaching. Or he's stripping. It's one of those two.
I just remember shaking his hand. It was like up to the elbow. It's like, whoa, giant hand.
Yes. I want to talk about stand-up again, because that's my favorite thing, and it's more about me than you. If that's okay.
Fine.
Let me ask you this. Going to so many comedy shows as a non-comic, but in the game, what is your biggest pet peeve that a comic does? I want to talk about this because I love putting people on blast.
Oh,
What is your biggest pet peeve?
All right. Let's see. There's a bunch. I know what you're thinking.
Yep. I hate
I don't like that. No, you don't.
I know what you're thinking. When did so-and-so and so-and-so have a baby? Like, no one's thinking that.
Right.
I can't stand that. I was walking down the street the other day.
And someone came up to me.
Yeah, that's bullshit.
Yeah.
Can't stand those. I can't stand when it's a fake story.
Fake story's the worst.
Uptones.
What is that?
The entire set, they're talking like this.
Oh, yeah. Uptone? Worst.
It's the worst. And it's usually
Why is it
younger
not as
comics.
bad, though, if they're Australian?
It's because that's how Australians talk, I guess.
All right.
Australians talk from the back of their mouth like this. In the back of the mouth. Right? They talk from the back of the mouth like this. Am I doing a good Australian?
Sounds good to me.
Hey, the back of the mouth. Oh my God, David does the best.
You think that?
I think it's so funny. He does we'll be in a store or walking around sometimes, and he'll just start talking in this.
Yeah, but it's got to be impromptu. It's something I
It's
visual.
so
Someone's got to catch.
funny.
It.
What do you think of these buttons? Yeah.
Let me see.
Say something.
Are you trying to like fish
Yeah,
it
catch
out?
you off
You trying to
guard.
fish it out
What
of
do you think of this button?
It's a
There's
bottle.
buttons. There's a lot of and he'll do stuff like there's so lot of buttons. And
It'll happen. Just let it
we'll
happen.
be at a store or something, and he'll hit me with it out of nowhere, and I just lose it.
That's why, because I see the
so
timing and I
fucking
know,
funny.
and that's not right now, but it'll happen
It'll happen.
because it's it's a natural thing.
My favorite.
Usually, Jason will do something that will make me
Stupid.
want to make fun of him,
Mhm.
and what I do to soften the blow is I do it in an accent
Mhm.
because it makes him laugh.
Yeah.
When I'm actually just making fun of him.
It's the wait, you're making fun of me when you do that?
Yep. Well,
I'm fucking
dude,
not.
I used to make fun of you a lot when we were kids.
I'm gonna say borderline bully. Borderline bullied me when we were kids. I couldn't make a move
just-
or say a thing
Yeah.
without him just making me feel like an
Sorry, what?
idiot.
I'd be like that.
Ah, God.
Nowadays, he could be arrested for verbal abuse and
Yeah.
harassment.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
nowadays you're like
But I still
you have
mess
to
with
take
you.
sensitivity courses and shit.
I still love to do it. Remember the last time we went bodyboarding?
My brother and I are out on the water bodyboarding, and I'm about ready to catch this wave. And then from behind me, I hear, "What did you
Oh,
catch
no.
it? Catch it! Catch it! You big dumb idiot!"
Oh yeah. But I was talking about when the porpoise was coming by,
Oh man!
and I kind of just looked. I went like that, and I made I went dun dun,
Started
And
making
we're in the
Jaws stuff.
water, and he just like, don't do that. Don't do it.
He would do the Jaws theme while we're in the water, and it'd freak me out.
Jaws caused a lot of nightmares.
And then all of a sudden, this porpoise fin comes up, and I'm like, it was scary.
That was good. That was good.
Yeah,
But okay, so I bullied you, but you are always trying to make me laugh, though.
yeah.
To the point of like, if I can get him in trouble, making him laugh, that's what you want to do.
Oh man, here's the thing, as a comic, there are certain people in your life that you know if you can make that person laugh, that person's laugh makes you feel amazing. Like, fuck yeah, if I can make David laugh, I know that it makes me feel so good. I know that it's funny. I know that it's funny, you know? That's another thing about hanging out in this comedy scene. You must be does it take a lot to make you laugh?
I don't know, but I feel like I don't. Yeah, maybe. I think so, because I do find myself when when I go to your shows and I'm at the club and I'm watching I'm like, oh, come on, man. And you know what especially at the Long Beach, well, I guess it's all the clubs. What I try not to get caught doing when a guy's on stage is I tend to lean to look at to see.
You go to check to see if the
lights on. I catch myself doing
fucking
that.
Guy done yet?
And I'm like, oh man, but sometimes it's tough. Yeah, but there are those guys. A lot of guys make me laugh really hard. Right now, when I think one of my favorite guys is Fahim Anwar.
Oh, Fahim Anwar. That guy kills me. Fahim's a buddy, a great friend, but he's also just a phenomenal comedian. And his writing is next level. And he's constantly has new shit that's hilarious.
Yeah.
Most people's new stuff, you're like, oh, he's working on it. Mm-hmm. It comes out the gate fire.
Yeah.
And it's so funny. He's such a good writer. Yeah, that guy. He's one of those comics that makes me not feel like a good comic.
No.
Like, I got to work on this shit.
You and I were talking, though, the other night. We were going to the Laugh Factory. And
Which one?
The Long Beach one. And we were talking about some of your old stuff that you just haven't done in ever. And you barely,
right.
And it was still, remember when we talked about that one bit and you're talking about making me laugh.
Yeah.
Remember you did it on stage.
Yep.
And when you did it, you went,
yeah.
And look back at
David goes, remember this bit that you used to do? And I was like, oh shit, I haven't done that in forever. And I didn't tell him that I was going to do the bit. So on stage, I did it. It got a great laugh. And I just went like this to the back of the room.
Yeah,
to my brother for the approval. I did it. Good. Which one was it?
The guys' weekends.
Oh yeah. The girls. There's a girls' weekend, and I go, girls' weekend's a real thing. You know, they do the thing where it's just the girls. We're going to go to Palm Springs. We're going to rent a house, and we're just going to be the girls running around in bikinis together or whatever. And then I said, if one of your guy friends says, bro, just the guys' weekends, camping in the mountains, I go, that guy wants to fuck you.
And you did it. That was from like 10 years ago.
10 years ago, yeah.
And it got a big laugh, and that's funny. But yeah, I was thinking of that. I was thinking, you got all kinds of stuff that you don't keep items on the shelf very long, I noticed.
No.
I noticed you switch it up a lot.
Also, another thing that I like to do is I like to do bits for my friends, even on actual, paid shows. I love doing things that I know is going to make my friends laugh. And my buddy Sam Hirschgold, we'll have him on the pod eventually. We were at a show, and there was this couple in the front row. There was an interracial couple, and Sam says, that girl so has the I only date black guy vibe while we're off stage.
Right.
So, and I didn't tell him I was going to do this. So obviously I said it to her on stage. I go, you do have that I only date black guys vibe. And then I just looked over at Sam, and he's at the table going,
That's funny, dude.
I love working for that. One thing that I'm upset about I'm looking at ourselves on the camera, and I need you guys to know this. Historically, my brother and I, forever, I was always the smaller, skinnier twin. For the first time in...
Taller.
For the first time in, look at me, my house. For the first time in 20 years, my brother is about 20 to 25 pounds lighter than me, and he looks great. He has a jawline. Look at my neck, dude. Look at mine. You don't have this line.
Yeah,
look at the fucking line. Yeah, when you do that. But look at, do it again. Turtles. But yeah, I want to just say you look amazing, and
Thanks.
I'm very jealous. And what's your secret?
People keep asking me that. And honestly, I feel like if I'm going to be 100% honest, turning 52.
Yeah.
it just feels easier to do. Like if I don't want to eat, I shouldn't eat that. And I don't find myself craving things as like I used to. Look at that. And I smoke tons of marijuana.
You're high now, right?
Oh yeah.
My brother's always high, and I love it.
Yeah.
And maybe that's why you laugh at all my stuff.
Shut up. No, it's funny. That's another unidentical thing, though.
Yeah,
You're not a big.
I don't smoke. I don't do a lot of weed. I'll eat weed. Like I'll do edibles once in a while. I microdose mushrooms, but I'm not a big flower like the actual joint where you're, hey man,
Give me all of it. Oh shit, give me all of it.
Yeah,
yeah. You guys, guys, listen. I'm not used to the mic being right here.
Is that what you hit it?
But I'm gonna get, like I told you guys. Oh wait, promise, I'm gonna get comfy.
No, you're doing good.
Yeah,
you're doing.
But
good.
Anyway, I smoke a lot of weed, and why was I saying that though?
Well, we were talking about you being older and why you're in better shape.
Right. And Brent was asking me, you smoke so much.
Moore.
How are you not fat? How do you know I'm the munchies?
Because it gives you the munchies. Does it not give you the munchies?
Doesn't. It's not.
You know what? Alcohol gives me the munchies.
Right.
When I drink, if I have a couple shots, then all of a sudden my body starts craving sodium, like bad stuff, like seasoned curly fries.
Yeah. I don't crave that those things.
Yeah. Last night I had 2 slices of pizza because I had 2 shots.
Right. So yeah, I just, and again, I'm not going, oh, I'm the most disciplined guy. When I turned 52, it felt like things changed.
And you don't drink. You rarely drink. And you'll do a few of those fun shots with me when we're out
every once. Yeah, right.
But like you don't drink a lot of alcohol.
No,
but you are a wine drinker. That's another difference. David is a wine drinker.
I enjoy a nice glass,
and that's healthy. By the way, that's like there's health benefits to that.
And even that's only maybe once, twice a month.
Yeah, when I drink alcohol, I only drink it's the most healthiest drink on the planet, and it's called tequila.
Oh,
I don't know if you've ever heard of this.
A lot of benefits.
It's
great for your liver.
Health. Somebody did say there are some health. You know when you're sick and you take a shot of whiskey, and for some reason you don't feel sick anymore.
Yeah,
is that a real thing?
I don't know.
I'm gonna research that shit.
But that's not taking a shot of whiskey of several times every night. You know what I mean? Once in a while. Not you.
Judging.
But anyway, that's my thing too. I prefer.
Yeah. All the time. When I say he smokes weed, all the time.
Yep.
All the time.
Yep.
When he gets out of my car smells like a head shop.
What was our head shop called back in the day? Generation Gap.
It was
over on Anaheim.
Yeah, right. Now they're fucking on every corner. Yeah. It's not called a head shop now. And they look like Apple stores.
Well, there's still those smoke shops.
Yeah.
Like there's this really nice dispensary, but next to it is this old Long Beach smoke glass shop that's been there forever. And they still sell. And in fact, it's improved their business. Because people are like, oh, look, let's go get a cool, whatever to smoke this weed out of.
Interesting. Hey. Interesting.
It is.
Very interesting. Yeah, I'm not a big weed guy. I do smoke cigars. I'm a cigar guy. I love to have a cigar once in a while, maybe once a week.
That's the weird thing. I don't smoke cigars. I don't want to smoke cigars, but I love the way they smell.
They smell great. My wife doesn't agree. And whenever I smoke a cigar and her hair smells like cigars for the next day. But yeah,
I think I know why I like
But she supports it and it's really sweet. Like she's bought me like really nice humidors and gives me stuff like that. But yeah.
I think I know why I like the smell of cigars. I think it's because when we were kids, we had Rams tickets with the dad.
Oh,
and there was the guy that sat behind us that always had the cigar.
Yeah.
So that always reminds me of going to football with dad and stuff.
So it's a nostalgic.
Yeah. Love it.
David, that's really fucking adorable. Isn't it? You're the cutest guy on the planet.
Who was the coach when you guys went to Rams games?
John Robinson.
Coach
John Robinson.
Now, my mom was his secretary.
Really?
And she went with him to the Rams from USC.
Oh,
right,
wow.
That's right.
Yeah, so he got that job and she offered to go. So
there
went our free ride to USC, of course, but my mom got to retire from the Rams.
When we had Jim Everett as our quarterback?
Yep.
So it's interesting full circle thing. So Jim Everett, we would see him when we were kids playing football. And then I became a comic and I said some like politically incorrect thing. Well, what somebody thought was politically incorrect. I did a tweet and Jim Everett responds to it and tells me something like, as a comic, you should know, blah, 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 blah. So I DM'd him and I said, hey man, I'm a professional comic. And you saying as a comic I should know is like me saying to you, as a professional footballer player, you should know. And he DM'd me back, he goes, you know what? You're right. I'm sorry. And then we ended up just homie chatting. Then he goes, hey, I'd like to come see your stand-up sometime. He lives in Orange County. And I think he came and saw me at the Irvine Improv.
Did you mention that we met him that time? Outside in the elevator?
Oh, that's right.
Down in San Diego.
Yep.
Met him in an elevator.
Yeah. But yeah, what started out as him almost trolling me on Twitter became kind of like a Twitter buddy.
That's cool. That's good.
Dude, this is going to be fun. I'm so excited about this podcast. You guys, this is episode 1, just getting to know what we're going to do.
Right, getting to know each other.
Yep.
But we're going to talk about,
we're going to have some fun
stuff, man.
Look
email
who's
us.
getting comfortable already. Look
Yeah,
at that.
Dave's the man.
Well, I'm comfortable with my brother.
We'll definitely set up the email so you guys can send us questions, stories, or anything. Again, Unidentical Pod. Check us out. We have unidenticalpod.com. It'll be there. It's almost up and running. And you will be able to watch this episode on YouTube. Make sure you like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you know when a new episode is coming. And it helps with the algorithms. Also, we're going to be on all the audio streaming platforms as well, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, stuff like that. So
for right now, there is unidenticalpod@gmail.com.
Unidenticalpod@gmail.com.
They can hit us up there for now.
Hit us up there and support. And we're going to be here for you guys, and you're going to be there for us. So thank you guys so much for sitting through this first episode. I'm so happy. I'm so excited.
Me too.
So far out of everything I've done, this is my favorite podcast and favorite project because I'm doing it with my bro.
And I promise I'm going to get comfortable unless...
You're doing great. I love you, man. Thanks for joining us. As always, Solomon, super producer. Thanks, homie.
Yo.
And we will see you guys next time. Peace.